Okay, this is our next group of skills for polygon editing, and in this video what I'm going to talk about is creating new polygons with shared edges. We'll create free-floating polygons in the next video, but in this case what we're going to be doing is creating two polygons that are using shared edges, and that's a very important task in polygon editing. The reason we use shared edges is so that there are no areas that either overlap, in other words one polygon essentially sits on top of the other one, and there are also no areas where there are gaps between polygons. And so let's take a look at this, and again we're going to be doing this on the area around Presque Isle. So what we're going to do now is you cut out a portion of the shoreline of Lake Erie in terms of the Erie County polygon. And what we're going to do now is we're going to create that shoreline back again in greater detail. So we're going to have a cutout that's going to have that in a better form. Then we're going to create another polygon coincident with that that is actually the boundary of Presque Isle. And so we're going to create those two things, and then in the end we will, in the next video, we'll do the free floating polygons. So let's get started. You'll notice that we're now back where we were. We're looking at our Erie shoreline, and what I want to do now is simply create a new polygon that essentially fits right in here and is a little bit better representation of the shoreline. Now remember, I'm doing this at 1 to 55,000 scale, and I'm going to do mine a little fast. It's not going to be as precise as I would like you to try. So again, we're going to go into PA counties, and we're going to begin to edit our features. And we're going to again go into our PA counties under our creation window, our create features window, and we're going to be doing a polygon here. But instead of doing a regular polygon, this would be our free floating polygon, we're going to use something called an autocomplete polygon. And what this allows us to do is match the edge of an existing polygon. So what we need to do here simply is we'll select that tool, and in doing that, what we need to do is a couple of things. Now, you'll notice that if I did it this way, and I clicked, you'll notice that it helps me guide along it, but I can move off of it. And in this case, that's not really what I want to do. You'll notice that it's tying to it, but see how if I zoomed in very closely, I just created a gap. And so that tool, when we use that without selecting a polygon, it doesn't really do what it's supposed to do. It will kind of follow the line, but you have to be very careful. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this polygon real quick, and you'll notice that I get this kind of weird thing. I'm going to delete that one off. Now what we're going to do again, we're going to go into our editor toolbar, and I'm going to select the polygon that I want to autocomplete. So that's this one. Now when I go in here again to my create features and I select the autocomplete polygon, again, we're going to let that disappear. Now what it's going to do is when I select here, and I'm going to first start here, and then what I want you to do is do your best job of digitizing this area that is the shoreline below Presque Isle. So I'm going to do this a little faster than you probably will. I'd like you to do your best job at this scale. But essentially what I'm asking you to do is to follow the shoreline. And again, I'm going to kind of very coarsely do Liberty Park here. Move along, do these little features. And again, as I said, I'm going to do mine kind of quick here, not to waste time on the video. But what I want you to do is follow this. Now remember, last video we talked about F8. Now I've clicked. Now all I have to do is grab and click on my F8 key. And now, when I hold down my mouse key, I can follow along this irregular portion of the waterfront. I'm going to stop, let go of my F8 key, click it again, and now I'm back in a single vertex mode. Now I get to the end, you'll notice that it's now coincident with the edge. I'm going to double click, and now you'll notice that the edge of this has already been created. That's why autocomplete is used. In other words, what it does is it allows us to grab that secondary part. Now, since that one's already highlighted, I can do the same thing, and I'm going to now digitize a second feature, again making sure I'm using my autocomplete, and this piece is now highlighted. I'm going to grab the edge of this, And because this is a fairly irregular feature, I'm going to immediately go to my F8 key. And I'm going to do, and again, I'm doing this much quicker than you should be doing this. And I'm going to do a quick approximation of its edge. I'd like you to do the same thing using the F8 key, but do it a little better than I'm doing it here. This will allow us, though, to kind of see what we're doing. And I'm going to kind of come down here, follow along the edge. As I get to the end, you'll notice that it gets to there. I'm going to double click. And now I have a second feature. So I've now created two coincident features using the autocomplete option. In our next video, we'll do kind of free floating polygons where we're going to be doing the two lakes or ponds up here at this A. So again, remember, save your edits, and we will see you next time.